Cody in the morning. WSM. This is Coffee, Country, and Cody.
Hey, this is where we welcome the television audience to join us on WSM Radio and now CircleCountry.com all over the world. You can link to your... I just about didn't get
You ready? You
time.
ready?
Yeah.
You got it? Pull it tight. Pull it tight. That's good. All right. We're fixing it. It's Monday, friends.
Yes.
There it is.
As I was
You look
saying.
great.
Welcome in the Acuff House Studio on the Grand Ole Opry Plaza, where we'll be celebrating a special night tomorrow night, Tuesday night, with Trace Adkins and the American military being recognized, Suicide Prevention Month, and we'll talk more about that coming up. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, the People's Choice Country Awards a little later in the month. That's about 3 weeks away now with Shania Twain.
26th, yeah.
Icon Award winner Miranda Lambert. So all those details are coming up. But you have breaking news this morning from both the Super Bowl and the CMA Awards.
Yeah, it was announced. I think it actually came out yesterday. Kendrick Lamar is going to be doing the halftime show at the Super Bowl this year. Mm-hmm. So it is not Miley Cyrus like many people were thinking. I think all of us were kind of hoping it was going to be Miley Cyrus, if I'm just being honest, but that's okay. And we also have all of the CMA nominations. So the CMA Awards coming up on November the 20th. CMA nominations have been announced. We're going to run down the list. Entertainer of the Year, female vocalist, male vocalist, new artist of the year, all of those coming up for you in just a little bit.
I got a great backstory here with Ricky Skaggs and Kentucky Thunder live from the Opry in a little bit. He and Del McCurry doing a song that Hank Williams and Bill Monroe wrote.
Oh.
Called I'm Blue and Lonesome. And so the story goes that they left the Opry back in 49 or so and went on a several-month road run together, Bill Monroe and Hank Williams. Can you imagine?
No, I cannot.
The story is that Hank played this old song for Bill, but somehow when it's all said and done and Bill cut it, Bill wound up with sole credit as a writer. There's been a lot of mystery with the history of Blue and Lonesome.
This is Coffee, Country, and Cody.
Ready for a Made in Tennessee road trip? Let me tell you where to go. TNTrailsandByways.com. Get off the beaten path and take the scenic route. Maybe you'll wind up on the Walking Tall Trail, Southwest Tennessee, Buford-Pusser country. Rockabilly, rails, and legendary trails. Explore charming small towns, mom and pop eateries, courthouse squares. That's something you always enjoy, Charlie.
Big on the courthouse square.
And barbecue gems down in Southwest Tennessee.
You know, if you go to TNTrailsandByways.com, each trail has its own dedicated pages, and you can search by whatever you're interested in. You can do food and beverage, you can do historic sites, you can do fun things for kids, and each trail has easily over 100 things to do. I happen to live on the Jack Trail. No, I did not buy my home specifically because it was on the Jack Trail, but I will say it is rather appropriate product placement. But just 108 stops there, and if you spend even 5 or 10 minutes on the website, you will come up with dozens and dozens of great ideas for a day trip, a weekend getaway, or if you come into town for a couple weeks on vacation. It's indispensable.
And I live on the Ring of Fire Trail.
You do?
And it is the time of year when fire-curing tobacco, dark-fired tobacco, is the way we roll in Robertson County, Tennessee. And that's going on as we speak. And so much more. Charlie mentioned a couple of things there that I wanted to follow up on, and that's there are a total of 16 trails. And when he talked about those hundreds of things to do on each trail, 1,351 recommended stops if you get the travel guide at TNTrailsandByways.com. Hey, good morning from Coffee Country and Cody. Just getting caught up over here. You got to do the stand-up routine on the air, Marty. Marty Raybon is in studio with us this morning, and I came so close, this close, to wearing the exact same color golf shirt as the shirt you are wearing this morning.
Oh.
Yeah, I love turquoise.
And
that's pretty.
Charlie,
That
you
and
remember
purple's
the
my
morning,
two favorite
Charlie,
colors.
you and I wore the electric green, the same electric green.
Lime green, yeah. It wasn't a good look.
Chartreuse.
It was
Yeah.
It was
Yeah, that's
something.
pretty close.
It was
Chartreuse.
something. Yes.
I like a chartreuse.
Well, Marty Raybon just sat down. Is the coffee okay?
Man, everything about this morning has been good so far. Everything.
The Acuff House living room is where you are sitting on wood that came from the Ryman Auditorium stage, the same wood that is the circle at the Grand Ole Opry House.
Yeah, I mean, it's all WSM here. It's all historic. That's the reason why I'm here.
Because you're historic.
9 days older than dirt.
You look great.
Well, I appreciate it. I took a bath. I live in Alabama, so I got to get up early in the morning, if I'm going to get gussied up.
So did you drive in from
I did.
Or Tuscumbia we were talking about?
Yeah, I did. And, but, after so many years, you do it. And then even when you're out on the road, I mean, you got early mornings and stuff like that. Now, most of the boys in the band, they don't wake up till about the crack of 3 in the afternoon. But as far as what we do, I don't have a time schedule. I don't. I just absolutely don't. My wife and I, if the Lord don't come back and we make it to the 14th of this month, we'll be married 39 years.
Oh, wow.
When we first got married, it used to drive her absolutely stark natal crazy when you go, because she was a postal worker.
Oh, okay.
So, and she'd have to be at the post office at 4 a.m. So it was kind of like, are you not coming to bed? The chickens ain't even gone to bed yet. Well, I got to get up early. And so I'm blaring the TV. She couldn't stand any kind of sound, so it had to be quiet. And anyway, so I got the TV running up, and if the TV, because our living room was next to our bedroom, so then I'd go into one of the bedrooms and I'd play the stereo. And can you turn that down?
See this.
But now look, let me say this.
Okay.
There's not a thing in the world that I wouldn't do for Melanie. And there's not a thing in the world Melanie wouldn't do for me. So we just gone through life not doing anything for each other.
Nice.
So this is how you make it to 39 years, Kel.
Okay.
You and Paul hang in there.
We got 25 under our belt. We're
Yes,
still
you
going
do.
strong. See,
Rebecca and I got 44.
You can't come in here though, because we are on her side, because we get up early.
Mm-hmm.
So when he comes in and turns the TV on or turns the light on, it's not pretty. It's not pretty. So I'm on Melanie's side.
And look, and I agree with it. But the thing about it was, see, we just had such different schedules.
Yeah.
And used to late nights and all that other kind of stuff. And man, I wasn't ready to go to bed at 7 o'clock in the evening. Man, when it starts getting dark, that's when things start happening.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Man, it ain't even showtime yet.
That's so funny.
Speaking of Showtime, I want to talk about work that you and Luke Bryan, Jason Aldean are doing, and we'll do that after we play the original version of a thing.
Track Records, or 8-track entertainment, and then Noah wanted to recut several of that's the head of the label, Noah Gordon, wanted to cut several of the tracks that we had done in the past, because he was a big Shenandoah fan in Illinois before he ever even left coming to Nashville. And one of the things he said, look, man, I want us to cut these as close to the record as we can absolutely cut them. Well, man, you've been doing these songs for 35 years. They've morphed. After a while, you do things different just so that it'll stay new with you.
Yeah.
After you've done it so long, you do little different things to a lyric, not to change the lyric, but to a melody pass, and you take a little liberty, liberty with the,
So
with the
who
melody.
wrote Sunday in the South?
Jay Booker.
Okay.
And anyway, so he wanted to do it, and he said, look, Marty, man, I'm going to try to do the best I can to get the tracks is absolutely as close. And Dad blamed if he didn't pull it off. I'm not kidding you. I mean, that was the most amazing. I asked him, I said, man, you didn't. I was asking Mike, I said, you don't think he pulls some, all his AI stuff he pulls. He said, no, I understand. He said, no, them are not the originals. But he said, man, that's about, I said, man, honest and truly, I hardly can't tell the difference. Anyway, so with that as it is, then he said, look, man, I want you to give me the same vocal that you did. And like I'm saying, I literally had to go back and listen to the original to try to keep it the way that I did originally.
Where'd you do it originally?
We did it at Fame, that same place we cut this one.
Oh, okay.
And anyway, so moving on, it's Luke Bryan's favorite tune. I mean, it's literally without a shadow of doubt his favorite tune. Well, years ago, people were sending us tapes and TikToks of him and Aldine and Miranda singing Sunday in the South live and stuff like that, on his show. So anyway, I run into it and I said, man, look, because I'd had the opportunity and I was tickled to do it. I got a chance to do his 30th number one party. Mm-hmm. And I said, man, look, I said, man, we just recut Sunday in the South. And I said, man, the track's just done. And I said, man, it's just like the original. I said, man, well, what do you think about, coming over there? And he said, man, are you kidding? I said, no. So, man, would you think about maybe do it? He said, man, I'd love to do that. So he agreed to it. And, of course, Aldine's there as well, too.
Yeah.
So and it comes out this Friday.
Yeah, it comes out this Friday.
That version that you just described.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, it's exactly like the original, except you've got 36, 37 years later with Jason Aldean, which I think is older than they are. Well, the number one that we just had with Luke Combs, mm-hmm. with 2 Dozen Roses, somebody goes, I don't even know if Luke ever remembered that when he was a kid. I said, look, man, we put that thing out. I said, Luke wasn't even born when we put that out.
How did that happen? Did he approach you about 2 Dozen Roses, or how did that?
No, it was pretty much the same way. But okay. he was doing 2 Dozen in his show as well too. And what's really amazing is to see folks, doing what they do. What people would call the younger acts. What we call them is, the guys that are coming along, mm-hmm. that is going to have longevity. I mean, they've already got it.
Yeah.
And good and well that they'll be around and stuff, and just believing that they would, not only that they would like your stuff, but they would do it. And then, I got to thinking one day, well, man, I'll never forget when we first started. I'll never forget us working up Set 'Em Up Joe. That Vern Gosling had out, when we started doing the stage stuff, and of course, man, you if you don't have material, you're gonna do a Haggard tune. You're gonna find the Haggard tune that works for you, and you're gonna put that on your show. So anyway, that was pretty much kind of where it was, and I got thinking, man, I reckon it's kind of humbling in a way, to think about, man, they'd want to, they felt that much about your tune that they'd want to, add it onto their show, and then to turn right back around and be willing to re-record it with you, but for them to record it and to be a part of it, that's really special. And and anymore, I don't reckon we've ever taken anything for granted. I just don't believe we have.
Has Luke Combs, has he pulled you up on stage to sing?
No, we just worked with him in Canada. And I was standing alongside the stage for him to do it, but he didn't do it.
Did you wave and be like, I'm over here?
Couple times I thought I got in his way, but it just didn't. Hey, buddy.
Hey. Well, if CMA is listening, they just made the CMA nominations this morning. I think it'd be really smart if they had y'all do Sunday in the South during the CMA.
Oh, man, that would be absolutely
that would be
fascinating.
Killer.
Oh, that would be fascinating.
I'm putting it out there. So
you got it.
All right.
Shenandoah, Marty Raybon, thank you so much for getting up early and coming in. Sunday in the South with Luke Bryan and Jason Aldean that he just talked about comes out on Friday.
More Coffee, Country, and Cody is on WSM.
Pick up. Joe, pick up the phone. Open up, man.
Connection saves lives. Reach out and check in on a loved one today.
As you listen on WSM Radio, how powerful, but boy, if you could see that and are watching us this morning on Circle Country or one of the streaming platforms, just so emotional. This Saturday's Opry Live on CircleCountry.com, brought to you by our friends at the Wounded Warrior Project. And you can find out more and you can donate at WoundedWarriorProject.org. Kelly Sutton, good morning again.
Good morning. It's CMA Nominations Monday, everybody. They are out. So CMA Nominations just announced. We're going to run down some of the categories for you right now. Congratulations to all of our nominees this morning, including Morgan Wallen, who leads the pack with seven nominations for Morgan Wallen, including Entertainer of the Year. So Entertainer of the Year this year, we got Luke Combs, we got Jelly Roll, Chris Stapleton, Morgan Wallen, and Lainey Wilson, who is your reigning Entertainer of the Year, both CMA and ACM. Let's go on to our next category. We have Female Vocalist of the Year. Kelsey Ballerini, Ashley McBride, Megan Maroney, Casey Musgraves, Lainey Wilson. Notably absent Miranda Lambert. Yeah, that one's a big one. Carrie didn't have an album out. I was texting with one of my friends, Darlene. You guys know Darlene. She was like, yeah, Carrie didn't have an album out. And I was like, yeah, you're right. I mean, we're trying to armchair expert this thing, right?
Right, yeah.
And you do wonder. You're like, but still, female vocalist. It's what, and Carly's not in there. And Carly had an album. So I don't know. You know, it's how it shakes out. It is interesting because Megan Maroney is also up for New Artist of the Year. So to be in Female Vocalist of the Year and New Artist of the Year at the same time, Luke Combs did it. And I think Jelly Roll did it. But other than that, it's kind of unheard of. All right, let's move on.
It's talk behind their back time here on Music Row.
Well, this is...
Let's do that.
This is what everyone is talking about this morning. If you want to be honest, this is what everybody's talking about.
Hand to God now. I wouldn't say it to her face.
No.
But
we're going to add her to the prayer list.
Right. Yeah.
Because if you're praying about it, it means you're not gossiping.
Yeah. But the great catch-22 is if you mention all the people they leave out, then who do you take out to put them in?
That's
where the tough. So and they limited it to 5. Like the ACMs kind of cheat a little bit and did like 8 for Entertainer of the Year, right?
Yeah.
You don't hurt their feelings.
It's more of a sliding scale, I think, with ACMs, but CMAs.
Unless you're number 9.
Right, exactly. Yeah. It is 5. Okay, so Male Vocalist of the Year: Luke Combs, Jelly Roll, Chris Stapleton, Cody Johnson, and Morgan Wallen. Congratulations to all of them. Vocal Group of the Year: Lady A, Little Big Town, Old Dominion, Red Clay Strays, which I think is amazing, and Zach Brown Band. And in case you were wondering, Old Dominion, this is their 9th nomination, and they've won it 6 times.
Does Brandon's handsomeness have anything to do with your amazingness adjective on behalf of the Red Clay Strays?
No, it's just that they're so new. And
he's so pretty.
He is pretty.
Oh, my wife became an instant fan.
Yeah.
He was at Dirk Bentley's concert. Yeah.
And this
guy.
woman, our friend and colleague, Kelly Sutton, introduced him to Tanya Tucker.
I did.
And then watched as, here she comes.
Oh, man.
Look up. She's a man-eater. As Hall & Oates played in the background.
The best part was, okay, so the Red Clay Strays had been on our show, and we had talked to them, and we're having conversations, and this was during CMA Music Fest. And so I had just come off of stage. I'd done some stage announcing and came off stage, and Tanya was there. So she and I were just chatting, and they walked up, and in my mind, I thought, oh, this is really cool. I get to introduce them to Tanya Tucker. And I could see Brandon walking over, and he looked at me, and then he looked at her like, oh my gosh. And I said, come here, I want to introduce you. And she turned around and locked eyes with him and was like, yes, please introduce me. He's not bad to look at, but he's even better to listen to. So Red Clay Strays, congratulations.
And he has a wife, girls.
He does.
Her name is Macy.
And she's darling.
Yeah.
She's been backstage.
If Tanya's back there, you better be back
Watch
there.
out. Watch out. We have Single and Song of the Year. Whichever one y'all want to do first, you let me know. Throw up that graphic and I will follow you, Jeff. Here we are, Single of the Year. Shabuzi, Cody Johnson, there's Post Malone and Morgan Wallen together, Lainey Wilson and Chris Stapleton. So congratulations to all of them. You got a bar song, Dirt Cheap, I Had Some Help, Watermelon Moonshine, and White Horse. And again, there are all of these stipulations for people that are looking at this going, Watermelon Moonshine, I mean, she's had 7 songs probably since then, but it falls within the category of time, because there is like, it has to be out by this time and, couldn't go past this date. So when that all factors in, that's how you get some of these songs.
And that single is the artist award. The song, people get it confused sometimes, is
that
the
goes to
songwriter award. And they will often share that with the artist who helped take them. In some cases, it's the artist wrote it too.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Most of the time, it's a group of songwriters, and they pitched this song and they got it cut, and they're recognized for that.
Well, and it's interesting to hear to artists which award would mean the most to them. But I think, other than Entertainer, Album of the Year is the biggest one, because it is the body of work. It's the thing they've worked the hardest on, the thing that they're most proud of, and it's most collaborative effort, because it's them and producers and songwriters and everybody that had some kind of hand in their album. And this year, Album of the Year, Deeper Well from Casey Musgraves, Fathers and Sons from Luke Combs, Higher from Chris Stapleton, Leather from Cody Johnson, and Whitsitt Chapel from Jelly Roll. So congratulations to all of them. Of course, there are more nominees. You can find the full list. Just go look up CMA.com. You can find out more information. I actually think it might be CMAworld.com is where you find all the list.
Yeah, you're right. And I was thinking about Eric Church when he won for Album of the Year a few years back, and he was talking about how it was the one he most wanted to win.
Yeah.
Including Entertainer, if you stop and think about that. Because these others are chapters, but this is your novel.
That's your legacy.
Your body of work.
That's right.
For that period of time in your career.
Well, congratulations to everybody who's nominated. The awards are going to be happening November the 20th. You can be watching for them, or you can go see them in person, because they're here at the Grand Ole Opry. No, they're not. They're at Bridgestone Arena. What am I saying? I'm thinking People's
No, I
Choice
like your
Country
version. She's moved.
People's Choice Country Awards are here. I was like, there's another award that's happening. People's Choice Country Awards here on September 26th, November 20th, Bridgestone Arena. You can get your tickets on sale now.
While Jelly Roll is relatively new to our format,
Yeah.
Whitsitt Chapel was his 9th studio album.
Was it really?
Yeah.
And congrats to Post Malone, who has 4 nominations.
Yeah, good. Well, that's a good record.
That is a good record. So that's pretty exciting for him. Okay, let's talk about Dierks Bentley being at Bridgestone. Speaking of Bridgestone, that's where he was hanging out. His Gravel and Gold tour rolling through town. And I didn't get a chance to go, but I know you were there. Charlie, you said Bella White, Chase Rice, both incredible, but it was so much fun to see Dierks out on stage.
Yeah, especially a hometown show. He had
It was all comps night.
Oh, he had his
Dierks
hockey team
Bentley.
out there. He had all the teachers from his kids' schools.
His mechanic.
Everybody from the garage that keeps his truck going.
Hey, let's get caught up with David Corley, who for how many years ran the road with Charlie Daniels?
47 years. 47
Goodness.
years. I started in 1973. I was 23 years old.
Let me read a clip from an article here. Corlew started with the Daniels organization in the spring of '73, where he was the lone member on the road.
Oh, my.
The lone crew member.
Yeah.
Charlie and I did it all. Ran the roads in 2 Chevy vans. I was the one driving the one with the musical equipment.
Yeah, I saw America through the windshield of a 1971 Chevrolet van leased from Jim Reed Chevrolet.
That's amazing.
And it goes on to say that you guys were out on the road with the Stones, the Allman Brothers, Rod Stewart, and the like, because Charlie, until Urban Cowboy, was booked as a rock act. Right?
Yep. We were, we never played a fair. In the 70s, the big fair was the Minnesota State Fair. There was a New York State Fair. Of course, there were fairs all over, but rock acts didn't play those. And the first bus we saw in the rock side of the business, Black Oak, Arkansas, had a bus, and they had one of the old Greyhound scenic cruisers, the double deckers.
Yeah.
And of course, we had to have one. And we bought it from Tommy Overstreet's brother, I think. I forget his name, but Charlie always said we pushed that bus a lot more than we rode on it.
That's what.
The shell had about 15 million miles on it, which was a lot of miles for
That's
them.
what Peter Rowan said about Bill Monroe and the Bluegrass Breakdown. He said it was appropriately named.
Well, what's interesting, though, and this really speaks to Charlie Daniels as a human, your longevity with him is legendary. I mean, almost 5 decades, right? But so many people were with him for 20, 30, 40 years as well.
Yeah.
And when you keep the same people around, that says a lot about the guy.
Yeah, you know what? If you came to work for us, if you were there 15, 20 years, you were a newbie.
Yeah.
You know, but for me, those years were hard years. I mean, we had 2 vans. Charlie drove the van that had the band in it. I had all the equipment. And, you know, you were breaking down and we didn't have money. We in the old days with a credit card, you had to, they had to call in to verify it. Well, the credit card companies closed at 6 or 7 o'clock, business hours. So there were times when we had to wait till after midnight to check out of the hotel so they couldn't check our credit card because it wasn't any good. I think we only had a $500 limit, so it was but those are obviously, like all of us in our careers, they were hard times and all you wanted was a good paycheck and wanted to do better. But now for me, when I look back, those formative years of the 70s and what I considered the CDB band is my memories, the ones I really hold on to.
Tell us about the Journey Home Project, when it got started. This is
Journey
the 10th
Home Project.
And its 10th year.
10th year.
10th year, our 10th anniversary. It's such a celebration. I read a statistic the other day, which it made me proud. It made me cry. That there's only a 30% chance for a foundation to last 10 years or more. And so we made it to the 10 years. We did make it with Charlie, but obviously his spirit has been with us the whole time. But it all spawned out of his patriotism.
And explain what you do.
That he had. Well, what we do is Journey Home Project. We never wanted to insinuate that we knew what veterans needed to return home, to recover, to reintegrate back into civilian life. And so our charter is written to where we are a flow through to other foundations. And I think what I do day to day and what kind of where I found my place in it is that I spend every day researching organizations and meeting with them, talking to them, watching them, tracking them, and to find the best places that we can donate money to. We're not a big organization, so we really watch our money. And Charlie always wanted to track that money. He wanted it to make sure it was spent properly. And this was the way. We raised money for years for other organizations, and early into the global war, there were some organizations that hit a few bumps in the road, overspent, and the percentages, overhead and things. And so we decided if it was going to be in Charlie's name, that we would track it, watch it, and make sure it went to the right place.
So where is the event on Wednesday night?
Wednesday night, it's at the winery. This is our 4th year. When Charlie passed away, we did it at the
City Winery.
Yeah, the City Winery. We did it at the Palm for years.
Yeah.
And just a little funny side note, we did it there, and I had decided that I thought we needed to get it to be bigger and more comfortable because the Palm was not advantageous for an event. It didn't work, but it did. And I went to Charlie one day and I told him, I said, look, I'm thinking about putting together a bigger event. And he said, I'll show up, it'll be great, but I'm going to still do this one here too. So he liked the chaos. But
I was at a couple of those
chaoses.
It was like shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah.
It was awesome, but it was really
It's
tight.
just like a Broad Street bar is what it's like.
Well, tomorrow night at the Opry, it's Face the Fight night.
That's right.
And that is to recognize military suicides and prevention. Right. And Trace Adkins and Craig Morgan are leading out. And the next night at the City Winery, it's the Journey Home celebration of 10 years and the Patriot Awards. And you go to the website, thejourneyhomeproject.org, 10,000 lives touched, 22 plus persons a day take their own lives. You make a reference to what I just mentioned.
Yep.
And then 1,000 plus supporters of your organization too.
Yep, we have I think the numbers are bigger than that. Trace is going to come down and visit us. He's going to be a surprise guest.
Good.
He's going to come down and visit us, and I guess it won't be a surprise now. But he is coming down, and it never was a music event. It was more of an honor event to honor our veterans, and so we're excited. I think we're honoring a 3 generations of a family, the Vigianos from New York, who were firefighters and police officers. 2 sons died in the trade towers. Those 2 sons have 3 sons that are police officers and military personnel now. So we're honoring all 3 generations of that family, along with Mark Geis was one of the Benghazi survivors. He's one of the authors of the book. And so he had a 9/11 also in 2012. So we're honoring both of the 9/11s that were impactful in American history.
For anybody that follows you on social media, before we close, we need to recognize a very special member of your family. You are a grandfather.
I am a grandfather.
How old is Preston?
Preston is 14 months now. I actually have 5 granddaughters and 1 grandson. Preston's the newest. The other ones are grown. But Preston's the center of the family right now.
Favored nation status.
Oh gosh, I tell you what, she's a handful and hard to track.
I love your posts on LinkedIn and following your day-to-day life on the ranch with Tuffy, who was with you in studio.
Thank you for bringing Tuffy in. We love it when Tuffy is hanging out.
Tuffy's the first ever animal in the new studio.
Yeah.
Well, me and Tuffy both. I'm a little bit of an animal too. So.
Oh, you got to tell us about coming to the Acuff house with Charlie Daniels.
Oh well, I came over here. Mr. Roy. Charlie worshiped Roy.
Yeah.
Charlie literally grew up on a dirt floor listening to the Grand Ole Opry, and that's how he learned to play. He learned to play a banjo and mandolin before he learned to play fiddle. So
it was Mr. Roy and Jimmy Dickens, right?
Yeah, and he loved Mr. Roy, and we came over here and got to sit and visit with Mr. Roy, and we got to partake in some libation with Mr. Roy, which was just a complete honor. I don't know how many people have gotten to do that, but it was.
What did he serve?
I think it was for medicinal purposes.
Yeah, that's right.
To get his voice clear. Yeah, we had a little Crown Royal and cranberry juice.
Nice.
I think, like I say, I think we were a bad influence on Mr. Roy.
I think we will set up a dispensary back in the break room.
That'd be
to serve that on a regular basis, Charlie.
Quite possibly, we already have.
David, thanks for your friendship through the years, man. I love you.
Man, I love you guys' program. Thank you so much. You guys have always been a big supporter for Charlie, and God bless you. And thank you for your help and support.
And David, the event is open to the public.
It's open to the public. We have very few tickets left. We've got a packed house and a big night. We're giving away a few extra awards. We're giving away a couple of Valor Awards and things like that, along with the 3 Patriot Awards.
Okay.
Stormy
Warren hosting?
Yeah, he's hosting and a recipient of the Patriot Award.
Oh,
he's been with us ever since.
Yeah.
Even before we started the Journey Home project.
That's like an only child's dream. And the winner is me.
The Journey Home Project.
Yeah, I'm standing in line for mine too.
That's David Corley. And here's the boss man, Charlie Daniels, and the band with Drinking My Baby Goodbye.
Acting like a darn fool, that's what I'm doing today. Sitting here drinking, trying to keep from thinking I'm boozing my troubles away. But now I couldn't make her stay, well doggone her anyways. You can't say that I didn't try. Pour me another one, I'm finished with the other one, I'm drinking my baby goodbye. Every time we disagree, she was always asking me, are you a man or a mouse? Now that she's gone, she probably thinks that I'm home just a moping around the house. She probably thinks that she's the one thing I just couldn't get along without. Well, wouldn't it surprise her? I got a sympathizer as long as these bottles hold out. Well, I'm sitting on the bar stool acting like a darn fool. That's what I'm doing today. And I'm sitting here drinking, trying to keep from thinking I'm boozing my troubles away. And I couldn't make her stay. Well, doggone her anyway. She can't say that I didn't try. Pour me another one. I'm finished with the other one. I'm drinking my baby goodbye. Every time I try to sit down and talk to her, it always ends up in a fuss. I tried to reason with her right up till the time that she got on that Greyhound bus. It'd be better if I could forget her, cause she sure forgot about me. And if it takes all night, I'm gonna do it right. I'm gonna sit here till I can't see. Well, I'm sitting on the bar stool acting like a darn fool. That's what I'm doing today. And I'm sitting here drinking, trying to keep from thinking I'm boozing my troubles away. And I couldn't make her stay. Well, doggone her anyway. She can't say that I didn't try. Pour me another one. I'm finished with the other one. I'm drinking my baby goodbye. And I'm sitting on the bar stool acting like a darn fool. That's what I'm doing today. And I'm sitting here drinking, trying to keep from thinking I'm boozing my troubles away. And I couldn't make her stay. Well, doggone her anyway. She can't say that I didn't try. Pour me another one. I'm finished with the other one. I'm drinking my baby goodbye. I said to pour me another one. I'm finished with the other one. I'm drinking my baby goodbye. I said to pour me another one. I'm finished with the other one. I'm drinking my baby goodbye.